We are doing tier lists. And this one's interesting. What is up, football fans? I got a guy on. His name's Chris. His YouTube channel's in the title. Go check him out. But we're doing a tier list. Quarterback tier list for the 2024 season. I'm going to say this again in about 3 minutes. But we are just doing the tier list for the 2023 season. 2024 season. So it's not about the career of these quarterbacks. It's about how well they did in 2024. And we have elite, above average, average, below average, bad, and unproven. So it's a very good conversation. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor. And that is BetUS. BetUS, fantastic. Look, I'm over down in the corner. BetUS, fantastic betting site. They have so many different sports and other stuff. You got specials here. They're going to do free agency stuff. You got draft pick stuff. Go check them out. Use the promo code YouTube150. You get 150% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Without further ado, let's go and make our tier list. So normally when I do these tier lists, I get in trouble with you guys. So I had to bring on somebody to take the blame off of me. I got Big C with me. Big C has his own channel. It's fantastic. Big C, thanks for taking the blame. Talk about your channel a little bit before we jump into this tier list.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. The great DouglieDoWrong. Listen, I just talk Miami Dolphins football. Call it how I see it. I love the team. I've been a fan since I was a little itty bitty guy. I do a show Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. I usually release content. And right now we're just discussing ways to improve this team, ways that this team can get back to being something special, a team that can eventually compete for Super Bowls. That's what it's all about, right? I mean, getting to the big game. And it's been a very long time, a lot of disappointment. And that's pretty much the reason I created the channel. Frustration, and I wanted to voice it, and I wanted to talk with other people. And here I am.
Well, I'm glad you gave me the time. It is late, and you are still up, which I appreciate. People know that I record these late because, well, you have kids. So
Yep.
You know what it's like having kids. It's crazy town. So this is the criteria. And Chris, just so you know, I'm going to have to repeat this a lot. Not for you, but for some people who are going to, again, get upset. So this is the tier list, right? We have elite, above average, average, below average, bad, and unproven. And you see like Aiden O'Connell's in there. We're not going to do anything with him. I just couldn't remove him from the tier list. But this is just for 2024. We're not looking at the body of work. We're not looking at Patrick Mahomes and his multiple Super Bowls and yada, yada, yada. It's just 2024. Again, this isn't for Chris. I already gave Chris a talking to behind the scenes. This is for everyone that is listening right now. Just 2024. So if I put somebody in average, but again, this is going to be me and him are going to have to agree. So it's not like I'm like, no, and we're coming together. Two minds coming together. But if we put somebody in like average, that's normally like, whoa, this guy's really good, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. So Chris, when you watch this video, be prepared to hear it in the comment section.
I'll take it.
Okay, so we will start with the guy runner up in the Super Bowl. We'll start with Patty Mahomes. We'll go back and forth with who starts. I'll start with this one. Initially, I was going to put him just in above average. I wasn't going to put him in elite, but then I went over and I looked, and he was still like 4th in passing yards, and he still had 31 touchdowns, which is ranked 7th. So he's still top 10 in touchdowns. His passer rating is still really good. So I'm like, you know what? He's still elite. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You can disagree.
I agree. I mean, they won 15 games. He hasn't had the 50 touchdown performance of the past, but I mean, he's still he's still the top of the top in the NFL. So I absolutely agree.
All right, well, that was easy. Next, Josh Allen. If you win the MVP, you're elite. And without Josh Allen,
even if it's questionable,
so questionable. And well, I'll let the Bills have it. He's MVP.
Yeah.
But if the Bills don't have Josh Allen, they're like a 6-win team. So
maybe worse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure me and you both can come to a full understanding that man is elite.
Absolutely.
Well, he had an elite 2024. I'm going to say that from now on because I feel like that will start to drive it home. Again, we're skipping Aiden O'Connell, but just for poops and giggles, I'm going to just put him in bed. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. I'm interested in what you have to say about Jalen Hurts.
As a passer, I'd have to put him in above average, but as his full body of work with the amount of rushing touchdowns, his ability on that tush push, I'd have to probably put him in elite for the last year.
I see. I feel you. And he won the Super Bowl MVP. He's 17th. He was 17th in passing yards, and he was 14th in passing touchdowns, 23 touchdowns. He had a good touchdown interception ratio, 23-6. He didn't throw that much, 452 attempts.
What were his total touchdowns at?
Total. That's a good question. Rushing. Let's see. Okay. I just messed myself up. I'll just Google it. But here's the thing though. How many of those rushing touchdowns are tush pushes?
Yeah.
That's where I start to get a little like,
I mean, I'm okay with the above average. I mean,
that's where I'm leaning.
He is a quarterback, you know what I mean? And
14 touchdowns rushing, 630 rushing yards. But again, how many of those 14 were him being physically pushed across the goal line?
I'm absolutely all right with above average. I mean, that's where I typically put him.
Yeah, I understand he won Super Bowl MVP, and again, he had one rushing touchdown. But again, it's the push. It's the brotherly shove.
Super Bowl
or whatever.
MVP doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't even think he should have won that, honestly. But
yeah, it should have been. It should have been Vic Fangio who should have won that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very close to elite.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really had the criteria there. Then we have Trevor Lawrence. He got hurt, and he had a bad year.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence.
He was bad this year.
I don't even know where he would be. How many games did he play? I don't, because like Mac Jones played 10 games, which means he had to have played like 7 games. So in actuality, this should be Mac Jones, not even.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He played 10 games, it says.
I'm trying to find. Oh, there he is. He was 29th in passing yards. He had 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. If I had to put him somewhere, I'm putting him below average.
I mean, I'm all right with that.
Because he had a bad year.
Yeah.
And I'd be surprised they don't trade him. But I don't think they're in a situation right now where they can get a quarterback.
They just gave him a contract.
Yeah. Bad year for him. Let's see. Yeah. But it seems like since he's gotten drafted, it's been like a steady decline.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
his years go on. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Geno Smith. What's your thoughts on Geno?
I would say he's an average starter in the league. He wins them a bunch of games. He doesn't make the mistakes. I'd probably go average.
He was up there in yards, but he wasn't up there in touchdowns. He was.
I just don't think you can put him on the same level as Jalen Hurts.
That's true. Yeah, and if you're looking at it that way, yeah, I agree. I think he's average.
That's the tough thing about these lists. You know what I mean? You want to do an individual, but then you're like, oh well, was he? If this guy's above average, Is it fair to put this one up there with that one? You know what I mean?
And that's, like you said, that's how it's hard, because you know, our dilemma with Jalen Hurts is he on the same level as Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? And it's like, no, but it's like, so yeah, I feel you there. Russell Wilson.
I'd go average too. Geno Smith area. I don't even think he was as good as Geno, but I mean, Pittsburgh won a bunch of games. He didn't turn the ball over a lot, but he wasn't the reason Pittsburgh was winning games.
That's true. He wasn't as bad as Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Yeah, I feel you. Baker Mayfield, to me, above average.
Absolutely.
I think Baker, if he just could take that next step again, he would be getting up there in that elite category.
Absolutely.
He ever since he went to Tampa, man, he's just been helping them win, and he's
a baller. He's a gamer. He's a dog. He's a dog.
The rushing he did, and like the breaking the tackles and stuff. I wanted him to come to Miami as a backup, but there was no way he would come to Miami as a backup, especially when.
Well, he would end up taking the job probably.
Especially
with the health, you know what I mean?
That's a discussion for a different video. Speaking of Tua Tagovailoa, I'll let you give your take first on Tua, and then I'll give my take. Where do you rank Tua?
In the games that Tua played, he was an above average quarterback, but you got to take in consideration the health. Like when I discuss Tua on my channel, you know, it's less to do with his abilities on the field, because I think we can all agree that Tua is a good quarterback for the most part. Does he have his bad games? Does he have the brain farts? Absolutely. But I think a lot of that is because of the way the team's built. Philadelphia is a perfect example about if you build a team the correct way by the trenches, that can do wonders for you. That can do wonders for you. Because I don't think Jalen Hurts is the passer of the football that Tua Tagovailoa is.
Yeah.
But look at the success Jalen Hurts is having because of a strong offensive line.
I agree.
So you got to take into account him being injured. So I'd put him at average. I can't put him up with Baker. I can't put him up with Jalen Hurts. Was he better than Geno and Russell Wilson? I feel like he was when he played. But you can't put him in the category with those two guys.
I am 1,000% with you. I was going to put him in average. Like, you hit the nail on the head. If he stayed healthy, there's a strong case for him to be an above average.
Absolutely.
There's no way he's below average. Like,
no.
When he played, he was good. Yeah. Yes, we had the Houston Texans game, but I could point out Josh Allen games, Patrick Mahomes games. I could point out all these guys' games where they had a horrible game. So yeah, to me, definitely average. I agree with you.
The Houston game is the game that he hurt his hip in too, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Who knows what part of the game he did that?
Could have affected his throwing motion, which again, it's his own fault, and we're not going to sit here and
Absolutely.
JJ, unproven. Caleb, what's your?
Below average, I'd say. He looked good for a stretch. I think a lot of it was bad coaching. The Bears had a lot of bad coaching mistakes last year.
Would you throw him in unproven?
Yeah, I mean you're right. I mean the sample size isn't big enough.
Yeah,
you know I mean,
because you played the year, and I see where I'm with you. He had there was games where he made the throws, and you saw the Caleb Williams that was the first overall pick, and then there was games where you're like, stop holding the ball, this and that. But it was a combination of things.
I'm more than okay with unproven. I think this kid can still be a great player. It was a rookie season under bad coaching,
Yeah, let's not jump the gun. It's 1 year. We'll put him in unproven. CJ Stroud. He didn't have a good year. And you can make the excuses for CJ Stroud. He was 11th in passing. He had 21 touchdowns. Only 2 more touchdowns than Tua, and he played how many more games? He played a full season. Played about 8 more games than Tua.
I'm putting him at average.
Yeah, he fell.
Yeah, he definitely had a second sophomore slump.
And that's going to piss people off that we have him on the same tier as Tua, but he fell. You cannot look at CJ Stroud last year and then this past season and think he didn't come down a little bit. The 2023 CJ Stroud, above average, all day, every day. He came down a little bit.
That team might not have made the playoffs if they were in a different division.
Oh, yeah, 100%. If they were in the North, they ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah.
The East, maybe. The North, no. Yeah. Even the West, I don't even think they make the playoffs there. Will Levis. He's bad. Is he bad or is he below average? Am I being too mean because he beats us? You be honest. You could say you're being too mean.
I'd probably, I mean, his stats probably aren't much different than, is he in a much different category than Trevor Lawrence?
Let me
his
see.
Stats that much worse than Trevor Lawrence's are? And I feel like Trevor Lawrence probably had the better team.
He did.
Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Etienne, you know what I mean?
Will Levis, 2,091 passing. He's a little bit better. He had 2 more touchdowns, but he had 5 more interceptions. His touchdown to interception ratio was 13-12. He's bad. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
Anthony Richardson, I would put him at average. I would actually.
I would almost go unproven with him.
Yeah, I could feel that, but
he's done a lot of he's had a lot of injuries, and we don't really know what he can be.
The fact that he took himself out of a game though because he was tired.
Yeah, we better not get into that. Taking yourself out the game.
This is his second year. He barely played his first year too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go below average. I would put him in unproven, but it's like it's his own fault, his injuries again. And I can't put him on the same level as Stroud. Yeah, I'm thinking below average. Are you good with that or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Derek Carr.
Bad. He started off hot the first game, first 2 games.
25th in passing. He played 1 more game than Tua. He threw 3 less touchdowns, 2 less interceptions. I'd put him
for where he is at in his career. I mean,
that's true.
You expect more from him in his contract.
Mm-hmm. Bryce Young. Now, Bryce Young started off rough. He started off real rough. And then he really picked it up at the end of the year, making some crazy plays. He's one I'd probably throw in unproven as well. It's either, for me, it's either average or unproven because I think the way he played at the end of the year kind of boosted him a little bit above below average.
See, I kind of feel like I could go with the unproven too, but I kind of feel like him and Anthony Richardson are like the same. They're both second-year players. You know what I mean? Like,
and he was a first overall pick. Yeah, no, I feel you. I'll put below average. But again, let's repeat. This is just 2024 season.
If you go by the second half of the season, absolutely. He was definitely average.
But if you take the whole thing and put, he's definitely below. I feel you. Brock Purdy. What did Brock Purdy do? 15th in passing yards. He had 20 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions, though.
I mean,
he's due for a contract, too. You think he gets a big contract? You think the 49ers get scared and pay him?
I think they offer him something. I don't think he's gonna break the $50 million. I think they got a smarter front office than what we got.
Yeah,
And they're willing to play hardball.
I saw one projection having him between 50 and 60 million. I was like,
no, that's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
No, he can't stay healthy.
You see what he does without the talent around him. You know, all the injuries around him. He couldn't elevate his team. I don't think you should make that type of money if you can't elevate your team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think San Francisco is a dumb franchise, and they're not going to build it themselves. So I could see him getting a contract over there, but nowhere near $50 million.
I put him average.
Yeah.
I think he had an average season. Stafford. Where was Stafford on it?
I'd say Stafford had above average. Once he got his weapons back, he really took off.
He did 10th in 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He was 10th in passing yards. Yeah, I'd put him at above average.
They were really good after we beat them. Like, they really took off.
They didn't win in the playoffs in their first game. They got close though. Yeah, and for a West Coast team,
really in the snow.
West Coast team in the dome coming to the East Coast and playing in a blizzard.
Almost beat the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I like that. Kyler Murray. 16th in passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. For me, it's I'd probably throw him in average.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Up and down season. 14th.
His stats didn't finish too bad though, right?
14th. Yeah, 14th in passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a 63 completion percentage. What was his 90.5 passer rating?
See, the Jets are like a head scratching team because like you would think that Aaron Rodgers must have had a horrible season. And it wasn't that bad, and they got an elite defense, and the defense didn't play up to what its normal standards. But
if they had a kicker, they would have won more games.
Yeah,
I'll put him at average. I can't put above average. Justin Herbert.
Does he retire this year?
No, I think he goes to the Steelers.
Oh man,
maybe the Raiders. He'll probably go play in a dome, so he doesn't have to deal with that stuff. Justin Herbert to me above average. I know he didn't wow with his stats, 12th in passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but the way he played and the way
he was efficient this year.
Harbaugh like used him properly. Like that was the biggest downfall for him, is that the guy before you have to do everything, you have to win us. And Harbaugh's like, no, we got JK, we're going to run the ball, you just be smart with the football. So I think he definitely had an above average season. Yep. Bo Nix. Bo Nix started off bad.
Yeah, he finished decent though. I put him at average.
Yeah, I think towards the end he started feeling Jaden Daniels. Do we even have to like? It's like I put him here.
He might go up there.
I can't put him in elite yet, but he definitely had an above average season.
They hit all wrong with that kid.
Hell yeah! And the Giants are kicking themselves because the GM's son was like, "Go get Jaden Daniels, Dad," and he's like, "Nah, you don't know what you're talking about." Daniel Jones. Do we really have to have a conversation about Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson too? Like elite. Joe Burrow.
He had an elite season. He did.
You know what? I'm not even going to hate. You know, I for the longest time said there's only 3 elite quarterbacks in the NFL, and it was the 3 that were up there. And a lot of people told me their reasoning for Joe Burrow, and the more I sit there, I'm like,
if you go overall, I don't put Joe Burrow in the same class.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about last year's season, he had an elite season. But overall, I don't put Joe Burrow on the same level as them 3 guys. It's them 3 guys and everybody else.
4,900 passing yards, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 70.6 passer completion. Yeah, he's elite. Deshaun Watson. I told Chris before we start recording, I was like, I'm gonna keep him on there. Screw him. Jordan Love.
Above average.
Yeah. Where was he when it came to stat wise? 19th in passing, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He
missed a couple games too.
Yeah, 15 games played. He missed 2. Yeah, he missed 2 games. 2 and missed 6. Yeah, I'll put him above average. Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff was second in the NFL in passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Jared Goff is also the reason they lost the playoff game.
Yeah, he's like in that.
He's like here.
If there was an extra, yeah,
like in the middle, like maybe a little bit above average, but
I'd give him above average.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put him in here with these guys just because
he had one game that he had 5 picks.
Yeah, it's bad.
They still won.
Drake May, unproven. Yeah. He played well in spurts, but for the most part, unproven. Dak, average. He's average. Kirk Cousins.
He was below average this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one. Kirk Cousins.
A lot of picks.
18th in passing, 3,500. 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He had an 88.6 passer rating, 2 out of 101.4. Yikes.
Yeah.
Garner. He did the most of the blunt work for the Raiders. Where did they do? Garner Minshew's 30th. Below average. I don't even know why I'm really.
Yeah.
Would you put him bad?
Let me see.
Because he was, what was his 81 passer rating, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
I mean, that's bad to me. I think that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Sorry, Gardner. Even though I wouldn't be upset if he came as our backup this season.
See, I'd like to have Mac Jones over. I think he'd be the perfect replacement.
He might. Honestly, I'm over here like don't even, but I'm like, you know what?
He's a right hand. He's a right hand Tua. I mean,
that's true.
Same offense at Alabama. Actually, all them Alabama receivers said they preferred Mac Jones over Tua coming out of the draft. Jalen Waddle, Devontae,
that's true.
The one, Devontae Smith.
Jameis Winston, last one, 26th, 2,000. He only played 9 games, but he had 2,000. His touchdown to interception ratio was bad, 13-12, 80.6 passer rating.
He gave them life, though.
He's bad.
Yeah.
He was bad. What game was it that he just lost it for him? Was it the Steelers game?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
there was one.
He's a character, man.
He's going to be a great analyst. Like that's his job. Like he's going to do great there. Where is it? Denver game, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Pittsburgh, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And they were in that Pittsburgh game. I think was the snow game that they were close into it.
Yeah.
But that's our tier list. I don't think this is bad.
No, I think we got it. I think we hit it.
I think this is a very fair tier list. Go check out Chris's channel. It's going to be literally linked in the title. Go subscribe to it. Hardworking individual. It's got a nice face on him.
I appreciate that. You got a nice face too.
I'm losing it. But for real, go check him out. Go subscribe. Show some support.
Yeah, me and Doug are very like-minded in our analysts of football and the Miami Dolphins. He was the first guy that I started watching. I look up to him, and I feel like I can relate to Doug more than probably anybody else on YouTube. So come check it out, Fin Posse Podcast. Like I said, 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. I'm usually live, but sometimes I just drop videos and, lots of giveaways. I got autographed Merino footballs. I gave away $2,000 for my 500th subscriber, and I plan on giving out another $1,000 for when I get to 1,000. So help me out. Maybe you can win.
Can I have some?
if you're a subscriber, it gets more than
Let's get him to 1,000. Go subscribe. Let's get him to 1,000. I'm gonna give you guys a date to get him to 1,000. Let's get him to 1,000 by the end of the month. You got 2 weeks. Go subscribe to his channel. Get him to 1,000 subs, because then you can monetize, and then you can make up the money that you're giving away because you're crazy.
I just, I like to give back, and I like to do nice things for people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not rich by any means. You know what I mean? Like, but if I got the extra, and I appreciate everybody helping support my dreams. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize this was a dream until, honestly, I started watching you. You know what I mean? You're such a huge inspiration to me. So it's such a pleasure, and to be on your channel with you, it means the world to me, and I thank you so much.
I appreciate it. This won't be the last time. I'll have you on again.
I should be having Richmond Webb on in the next week or so.
There you go.
I've been talking to Alan Poupart, if y'all know him, obviously, if you're part of Miami Dolphins. So hopefully he's willing to do something.
That's cool. Cool. Go subscribe. Chris, I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, brother. Fins up, baby. Yeah.